What's up, guys? You saw me for a split second there, but we are live here on YouTube. One True Sport YouTube, OneTrueSportTV.com. I'm Dominic DeAngelo. You can see below. There's my Twitter account. There's my name. And yes, we are fresh off of AEW All In out of London. Wembley Stadium. Felt like a big show, and I'd say it probably was a big show. I'd probably give it... Letter grade wise, I would give it an A-. I think it's that good. Not if you're looking at it from maybe like an overall wrestling big card perspective, it didn't go crazy. But I will say that I think it did a lot to help the brand of AEW. And it really it's going to be dependent on how that momentum is going to get carried on throughout this week, especially with all the big news going on with AEW surrounding, they made the announcement of going to Australia here in February, I think it was. And then they also, this TV deal impending. If I were Tony Khan and there's something in place, I would make that announcement tomorrow about a TV deal, about a streaming deal, about all that stuff. Really, really ride this momentum off of AEW. You have a lot of big changes that happen on this card, and this is your chance to kind of get carrying on with those the momentum here. I don't, from like an overall match perspective, I liked a lot of the matches. Nothing really drew me crazy. The main event was awesome. Don't get me wrong, I love the main event. But if I'm looking at it from if you're looking at it from oh my god, I don't know. It's kind of tough to. There's a lot of stakes that go into play with that main event because it was such a heartwarming, cool moment for Bryan Danielson with his family and everything like that. But it wasn't like I was like, oh my god, this match is amazing. I think the story told in it was amazing, and I think the family aspect of it, a lot of criticism, a lot of thoughts that came into Bryan Danielson having his family at ringside. Bree was there, and his daughter and his son were there, Buddy and oh my gosh, what's that? Birdie were both at ringside. And initially too, I'm like, oh man, how is this gonna all develop and everything like that? And I think that was a lot of people's questions. Should he have his kids at ringside? Think about Mick Foley and Royal Rumble 1999 and what all that came into play and how crazy that was. But you take a step back and you realize a couple things. That number one, those aren't your kids. Those are their kids. They know their kids better than anybody else. So if they're capable of handling that, that's A-okay. Hey, they're the parents. They can handle that. And Bree and Brian, they clearly love their kids. So I'm sure they're only looking out for their best interest. And if it wasn't a safe environment or a good environment for either of them, they wouldn't have done it. And you could have seen the emotions on the kids' faces where it wasn't scarring to any of them. That definitely was. It was okay to do for them. And Danielson really. I think what a cool aspect of that match was the connection he made with his kids, particularly Birdie, I think, at ringside and stuff like that. Kept looking over at them and reassuring them and certain things like that. And I think that was a really kind of cool aspect to this match. You didn't necessarily need the moves and all that stuff. There was great moves, don't get me wrong. I loved the finish. I loved the story that went into it. The more I'm talking about, the more I really enjoyed this match. And it was a great main event. And I think it's the right move. Swerve tapping out for the first time ever in AEW is a big thing, I think. And you can further that into a story in itself. Lots to talk about when it comes away from Danielson too, and what it means for him. Oh, let's get to some live chats here. Yes, guys, we are live. So if you want to chime in, give your opinion, ask a question, feel free to use the super chat. That always helps out the show, always helps out One True Sport. And hey, you see above me right there, become a member of One True Sport today. Hit the join button down below. Take a look at some of the tiers we got for you. If I have the time and the ability to do so, I will upload the awesome graphic that was made for us by some 90s guy. So credit to him. And I'll show you those tier levels that we have cooking on. But either way, Yes, feel free to chime in with your feedback. Let's see. Jesse Hyde says, "What a wild event for AEW so far in 2024, and where is Shane McMahon?" Jesse, that's a great point. What a great follow up that would be for Dynamite, right? If you bring Shane McMahon in, and you make this announcement that you got a streaming deal, you're getting AEW, the wheels kind of cooking under AEW again after what seems like uh, scorched earth kind of got shot when Cody Rhodes left AEW for WWE. It seems very, they haven't recovered from that yet, and this could kind of get the wheels back under him a little bit more. It would take a lot of work and effort to get back to where they were if they can ever do that. But I do think this pay-per-view made the right steps, and what they do throughout this week will continue to make those appropriate steps to kind of getting them back more towards relevancy and seeming like a good product. And they are a good product, but they do have a lot of their challenges when it comes to certain things. And, if you've listened to me on Rumor and Innuendo with Robert Karpolis or One True Sport Daily with Zach Hayward and Ryan Droste, you will know that there is that criticism that goes with this, with AEW as a product. But yeah, I think Shane McMahon, what a great follow-up that would be. Good point. Maddie, member. Yes, it's Sting. That was awesome. What a great way to use Sting. They made clear he's not returning to the ring during that moment, but it was so cool to see him return to that electric crowd playing Metallica and all that stuff. It was really, really well done. Sting looked like a badass. And just, he's so great. I mean, this is what got me hooked on Sting in the first place, was the fact that he does so little by saying nothing. And what his body language shows off is all that you need when it comes to the icon Sting. He's great, man. Got to see him at Cauliflower Alley Club Awards ceremony. It was really, really neat. He had a great speech. Such a cool dude, so down to earth, everything like that. If you want to hear more about that, you can join. Cheap plug. Join One True Sport at the $7.99 level, and you can hear my analysis on Cauliflower Alley Club weekend that I was at, or the week, the award ceremony. I'll go into detail about all that. I still have to record that, actually. So, yes, but sign up, and you can get the private RSS feed. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll get to Demaria has been chiming in a little bit. Overrated hooks, like so. Let's see. Jericho is overhated. Hook looks strong coming out of this. Do you mean Hook does? Oh, Hook is overhated. I get what you're saying. Jericho is overhated. Hook looks strong coming out of this. That makes sense. Yeah, he does. I think I'm kind of done with the FTW title, though, right? I think they should just retire it. A lot of belts going on. A lot of belts around. So many. Don't need that many. Let's see here. We'll keep chiming in. Ooh, hey, we got the Blue Meanie, who's part of the One True Sport Network now, chiming in. He says, "I'm going to report this video for those guns on your sides, brother." I made a promise that I was going to wear no sleeves today. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. I kind of realized it's summertime, so I like not sleeves, but it's also like, I don't know. When I was in Vegas, all I wore was like no sleeves basically, and I kind of looked like white trash. While I was in Vegas, definitely leaned into the white trash aspect of my life. So, Sting a guest on the RVD show. I would love that. All right. David Von Boglin. Hey, guys. Yes. Feel free to give your feedback on anything, on the matches, on what you think what AEW should do next. Did it get you excited for Dynamite? Was the card too long? Was the card just right? What else did I want to hear from you guys? Favorite match. Tell me what your favorite match was on here. Oh, which way to the beach, Manny? Oh, it is that way, man. That way. Can you see it? Hold on, I can do it. That way, buddy. Yeah. Oh my God. RVD actually made me dance on the latest One of a Kind because I told him I went to like a disco show in Vegas. And he was like, "Did you dance?" And I was like, "Yeah, I danced." And he's like, "Well, now you got to do it." And so I did it. So you got to check that episode out coming up here tomorrow, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One of a Kind with RVD on rvdtv.com. Guys, if you like what you're seeing too, Be sure to like, subscribe, get your stuff in here. But hey, let's go into the All In card here. I had copied and pasted it, and I'll be forthright, did not see 0 Hour, none of that stuff. But I will go over the results for these. Action Andretti, look at this match. Get a load of this. You want to talk about a lot of people in one match? This is it right here, guys. Action Andretti, Kip Sapien, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Rocky Romero, Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington, and Top Flight. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 guys against Anthony Ogogo, Arya Davari, Beaver Boys. Are they not Dark Order anymore? They called them the Beaver Boys. Alex Reynolds and John Silver, Jay Lethal, Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, Satnam Singh, all in one match there. That's a 16-man, 8-man tag match. Wow. The good guys won that one, by the way. Good to see Action Andretti still there. I haven't seen him in many moons. Many moons. I think he's on ROH, though, now, isn't he? Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii beat Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. Cool. Dr. Martha Hart and Tony Khan appear in front of the live crowd. And hey, get a load of this. Dustin Rhodes, Kashuri Shibata, Sammy Guevara, and the Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross Von Erich. They end up, hold on, I cut and pasted and the whole card didn't, so now I have to do the whole thing of me going through for 0 Hour here. 1 sec, give me a second. Oh, yes, okay. So it was Von Erich, Ross and Marshall Von Erich. They beat the Cage of Agony, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Tawa Leona, and the Undisputed Kingdom, which is Matt Taven and Mike Bennett in a multi-man tag match. So a lot of multi-man tag matches on 0 Hour. Nothing really wrong with that. I will note that Sammy Guevara and Brian Cage maybe should have collaborated on what they were wearing because both were paying homage to Wolverine in that match. It was cool, though. I will say the outfits for Rhodes and Sammy Guevara made sense because they were dressed like Deadpool and Wolverine. But Brian Cage, that's his thing. He's the Wolverine guy. He's Wolverine, by the way. He's a very big Wolverine fan. So I think he had first dibs, Sammy. Maybe he could have been Gambit or Blade. Ooh, that would have been cool. So that happened. Now, hey, okay. So I'll say this. Me and Robert Karpolis, my co-host on Rumor and Innuendo, we were both pretty critical of how AEW utilized or used Saraya because she's such a big name and she unceremoniously loses to Toni Storm several days before All In takes place for the AEW Women's Championship. Soraya's in his backyard in London, all that stuff. Doesn't make sense for the story or anything like that. Well, here she comes out and tries to hijack the show, basically. And who comes out but Jamie Hayter, which is pretty cool. So big return for AEW, big return for her. Wonder what this means for Saraya, if she's going to be sticking around, because from what I've heard reports-wise, I guess, that her contract is expiring. Will she be sticking around, or will she be gone? Didn't see this, but I saw the news that Jamie Hayter came back, which is good stuff. Building up the women's division. You have a fresh opponent for somebody like a Mariah May, for somebody like a Mercedes Mone. So, yeah, some cool stuff happening. Cool. Let's see here. Just trying to keep up on comments there. Let's see. Just everybody connecting with one another. That's always good to see. I like that. Got a good community going here at One True Sport. So, neat to see. Okay, let's get to the main card here. I was very curious as to who or what match was going to kick off the show. If I had to put money on it, I would have guessed it was Ospreay versus MJF. It wasn't. Robert Karpolis predicted what match? He predicted a different match. Or Kevin Kellum did. He predicted a different match to kick off the show. Either way, we were both wrong. And it was the ladder match, the four-way ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship. Pac and Blackpool Combat Club, which was Claudio and Wheeler, Utah, against the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, and the House of Black. We got new champs in this one. Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club are your new trio championships. This was a good way to kick off the show. In several ways, I will say. Number one, because it was action-packed. There was a lot of stuff going on. There had some fun moments, fun spots. Juice Robinson, kind of the show stealer in this match. He did some crazy stuff, took some crazy bumps. Fun moments with him. He got pretty nice reaction, too, overall with that. Yeah, the reason this was a good way to kick off the show is, number one, yeah, like I said, action-packed, lots of stuff going on. But number two, you make this a little bit more relevant than what it was even. This match kind of felt like an afterthought, going into how big this card was and all of the other matches that were going on. This kind of feels like the trios titles, okay, whatever. This kind of elevated a little bit, putting it in the opening card as the curtain opener. So I think that was a good move. And this was a really fun match. I liked it. There was some telegraph stuff in certain areas. But overall, I like it. And hey, furthered a little story to what we got later on with, Christian Cage and Killswitch, a.k.a. Luchasaurus. That's an interesting, Maddie. I'm going to star this one for later on. But let's see what else we got here. What else is next on this card? Here, we had the AEW Women's Championship match. Toni Storm loses her title against Mariah May. Right move, I think. Toni Storm is awesome. I like her look. I like she is a throwback. It's like a Mildred Burke kind of thing. It's just really playing into this role and does a great job at it. And so does Mariah May as a really, really evil heel. She's good at what she does. She's beautiful and everything like that, but heck, man, she is not anybody to mess with. And she's great at the wrestling aspect, but she's really, really good at the charisma part of it all too, where it comes to like picking and choosing her moments. When she powerbombed Toni Storm to the outside, and then the look she gave after, it was just really great. Quality character work right there. And then her slapping her own mom, just crazy. You wouldn't slap your dad's mom, would you? Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. But this was a fun match, too. One of my favorite matches of the night, I would say. I think they both delivered and played their roles really well. Luther was a fun aspect to this match, too. I guess I should speak about the crowd itself. It was overall really, really good. Obviously, London and Wembley and the arena was really nuts. They cheered quite a bit. Did not seem to lose any momentum in anything from what I gather, when it comes to watching this card and everything like that. But, Mariah May is very, very good at what she does, though, so props to her. Get your guys' questions in. I'll be sure to star them and make note of them. I'm starring a couple at this moment in time as well. Next up, we had a last chance match for the FTW Championship. For the World Championship? For the World? Or F the World? Well, it's Hook versus Chris Jericho. And it was basically a 3-on-1 match. Hook ended up getting the victory after his dad helped him out a little bit. Brian Keith, my boy, my guy, the Bad Apple, kind of was interfering, but so was Big Bill. Big Bill took quite the tumble into a table and onto a barbed wire board nonetheless. And so he was a little broken up. He was taken out of the match in that regard. And then Brian Keith was another guy that had to be dealt with. And Taz dealt with him by locking him in the Taz mission as Hook locked Jericho in the Taz mission for the submission. Hey, wow, how about that? And we have a new champion, FTW champion. Now again is Hook. So, this match is what it was. It did what it was supposed to do. Big Bill is very over in London. People like Big Bill. I like Big Bill. My co-host Robert has kind of gotten well worn of Jericho, and even Maddie, I believe, said, "Oh man, Wes, my click this cohort, Wes would slap my mom." Wow, man, my mom's a gem. She does live in Virginia though, Fredericksburg, Virginia. If you want to take a swing, Wes, go for it. Give it a try. I dare you. I dare you. Um, but geez, I'm losing track of my thought. Um, yeah, I thought this match was good. Like I like Jericho. I do. I understand this high guys thing is not his ultimate gimmick. I will say that his ultimate choice. I don't think that it's his right groove. I think he can do a lot of different stuff. Maybe and like heck, kind of absence does make the heart grow fonder a little bit. Wouldn't mind seeing Jericho take a little bit of a breather. So yeah. But this match is all right. Wonder what's next for Hook. Just get rid of the FTW title. It's done. There's a lot of. They have to. I said this on I think Rumor and Innuendo. They have to have a pay-per-view where they just merge a bunch of the titles together. Just call it Fusion. Well, no, don't call it that because MLW has that show. Call it Convergence. How about that? Just get all these titles put together because there's just too many. I don't like it. But I did like the show, like I said. So let's keep going. We had the three-way tag match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Young Bucks defeated the Acclaimed and FTR in a triple tag match. The Bucks ended up hitting the EVP trigger on Dax to retain their titles. And this match was okay. It's probably to be honest, probably my least favorite match of the show. Just really kind of almost felt forgettable. Like I think there was something that was a missed spot. Let me see if I can pull my freaking notes up. I literally wrote notes for this, and then I don't even have them up. So let me see if I can do that real quick. But yeah, and like, listen, I thought this was you could have made a big moment out of this by having the Acclaim break up. I think their run has been well worn at this point, and they're just kind of treading water at this juncture, and they didn't really do anything for that. So, the big takeaway from this after the match, Grizzled Young Vets came out and looked like they were going to square off against the Young Bucks, which felt lesser than because you had FTR, one of the greatest tag teams in the ring, who just lost to them. So it's like, okay, well, we're supposed to get behind that. I get there, that the hometown, home country guys over there, but they're not that big of a deal. And like even Excalibur said, oh, they just appeared on Collision like a couple weeks ago. So it didn't really feel like that big of a deal. And then they end up attacking FTR, so it kind of makes sense in that regard. Those guys will have great matches together. But their tag division is just there. It's kind of weird. Like, I will say in the multi-person match, I love the Gun Club. I think they're a great tag team. So they have the embers of a good tag team division. They just have yet to really go, pun intended, all in with that. So I think they should. It's like WWE has not established a really, really strong tag division. Why not you? Why not AEW? Make that a real big part of your show, a big part of your TV deal coming up with your announcements. Put the highlight on your tag division. Make that seem like a big deal. And then if WWE follows suit, so be it. But then you were the first to do it, and you kind of establish, hey, we're the tag team wrestling that you want to go to. And WWE can easily do the same. So it's a matter of who does it first, if either do it at all. Tag wrestling is awesome. It's a different kind of storytelling. I heard about that at Cauliflower Alley Club. I believe it was B. Brian Blair, who is a tag team extraordinaire. Talk about that. And you also had the Dudleys get inducted too. So there's a lot of value in having tag team wrestling. And it's not like there's a reason that they aren't pushed in AEW, because Tony Khan, when you look at how much licensed music that came out on this evening, traveling with two traveling tag teams and moving them around is not a huge expense for him in the grand scheme of it all for them. Maddie, I got your super chat. I will answer that one too. But you're asking some good questions and giving some good input here. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got. Where is my card here? I have it here somewhere. Did I want to say anything? No, that's it. That's it. Really forgot for that match. Probably my least favorite match of the show. But yeah, it's not like it was a horrible match, but it was whoa, nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Uh, just there. Uh, Casino Gauntlet for the future AEW World Championship match. This was a fun match. And well, I'll get to that in a second. But very, very cool stuff. Orange Cassidy kicks it off as he should. He gets the music. Where's My Mind? And then Okada is the next. So what a way to start the match off. And then what a way to follow up by bringing back Nigel McGuinness, who has not wrestled in years upon years since the Desmond Wolfe days in TNA. And so very cool to have him back in Wembley in his backyard. And really, really neat moment there. I have to also add, listening to him, he's such a great heel commentator. Probably the best right now that's really doing it. Because Corey Graves is more now in the babyface role. Matt McAfee was a babyface when it came to color commentary. Nigel is like just the best heel commentator going right now, and he's kind of the only one really in the game, I think, though. But I mean, he's really, really good at it. Like you could put him up against a lot of the good heel commentators, like a JBL or like a Jerry Lawler. I think he fits that groove. He does a great job. He doesn't care. It's really funny stuff, but still like good, keeps you entertained. Very Heenan-esque in certain ways. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Wes says he marked hard for Nigel. I wonder, he was wearing purple and black, and those were his Desmond Wolfe colors, and I thought that was kind of neat. So yeah, that was kind of cool. But yeah, so it was really cool to see him out there. Kyle O'Reilly, I like a lot. All these guys, even Tony Schiavone mentioned it. Like everybody that came out in this match was like well worth it. You know, everybody felt like they belonged in there. You had Kyle O'Reilly, you had Zack Sabre Jr., who, man, what a good sequence, great sequence him and Orange Cassidy had in this match. Roderick Strong came out, who still shines a lot, and you know I like Roderick Strong with the mustache. I think he's got to keep that around. It makes him, you know, I didn't like his neck brace, like over the top, like kind of comedy BS that was going on. You know, makes him stand out a little bit when you give him this mustache, and if you can kind of find his own groove, he's a talented guy and a veteran too. So, you know, if they're really starting to light a fire under ROH as a brand, hopefully with this TV deal coming up and Tony Khan teasing like ROH AEW or AEW ROH, like AEW Ring of Honor, he would be a valuable asset to have, and you know, maybe substitute that out for in place of Rampage or something when this new season, quote unquote, starts. But yeah, the Gauntlet was fun. Hangman coming out was cool. Double J coming out to a huge pop was great. And just like really furthered a lot of cool aspects of who's a heel, who's a babyface, that kind of identity in here. And yes, Ricochet coming out, making his debut. People heavily speculated that he was going to be there, and sure enough, he was, and he showed up, like, you know, great way. It was fun to watch him do what he does best, and you know, going to be a hot rising star in AEW. It'll be interesting to see how they utilize him, what they will do with him from a charisma, character, promo telling standpoint. Be interesting who they pair him up with starting off. I don't know if anything was greatly teased with what's next for him, but this finish pretty interesting. This was kind of a first for me how I felt about a finish. So throughout the span of a wrestling card, I guess, because you know Christian Cage comes out kind of unexpected, considering he was in the match earlier on, and then was hurting bad, and like. First person that attacks him is Ricochet, jumping off the top and taking him out, basically. But who comes out? Oh, is it? Okay. Wes says it's Ricochet versus Fletcher Wednesday night. Is that a prediction or a spoiler, Wes? What is that? Let me know. But oh man, I lost my thought. So yes, so Christian comes out, gets attacked. And then like he's seemingly okay, he's probably just there. But here comes Here comes Luchasaurus, not Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, because there was tension shown in that ladder match between the two. Like Christian Cage was irate at Kill Switch during the time after they lost the match. They didn't really put too much of a focus on that. Was that intentional, or was that just a mistake by the camera crew not putting the focus on them? Because like you had to really pay attention. If I didn't know that's what happened, because I watched this on delay, and so I watched the Gauntlet match first, then I watched the opening match later on. So if I did not know, if the commentators didn't explain to me what happened beforehand, I probably wouldn't have noticed Luchasaurus walking off in an angry mode unless they didn't tell me so. I wonder if that was intentional or not. But either way, it set up a tease for like, hey, Luchasaurus wants vengeance on Christian Cage, but here he ends up getting him the win with this match. And Christian Cage is now your new number one contender for the AEW World Championship. Is Darby Allin also number one contender too, by the way? Didn't he win something? Let me know if he won something. I think he's also a number one contender. And then I know Pac is a number one contender for the International Championship. But I was like, what? We just saw Christian Cage in a world title match. Why are they giving him this? But I love Christian. Like Maddie says it here, Christian is a good heel. He's a great heel. He's an awesome heel. And so kind of a head scratcher that he won this. Is like, geez, you had huge names in here like Hangman, Jeff Jarrett. You had Ricochet. You had Okada. You had Zack Sabre Jr. You had a lot of major names in here. And we get somebody, Christian Cage, who was just in a world title program. So, see? Darby has thanks, Wes. Yes, Darby has a match at Grand Slam, and he won the Rampage Rumble. That's right. So he'll be in the world title picture in Australia. So will we see Danielson and Darby? Ooh, that's gonna be good. Yeah, made me kind of be like, what's going on here? Why did anyone? But when you step back and see the whole card, and by the end of the show, I'm sold on what that match is going to be presented as, because we got a neat program coming up with that. But before we talk about that, talk about a little bit more of the card here. We had the AEW American Championship, Will Ospreay defeating MJF after the return of Daniel Garcia to distract Maxwell Jacob Freeman and stop him from hitting Ospreay with brass knuckles. So, yes, Ospreay wins the title. Pretty unexpected way to present Will Ospreay starting off. I had no idea that they were doing an Assassin's Creed sponsorship in tandem with this, but they made it work. And it did not take away from the match, I thought. At first, I was like, oh, what is going on here? This seems a little hokey. But, like, Ospreay was kind of dressed up like what's the guy's name? He's, like, talks in a Cesaro accent. But and he was narrating stuff about Will Ospreay. So they did tie it in nicely. And then Will Ospreay came out dressed like him and all that stuff. And I think he's a fan, because I think part of his finish, right, is like an homage to that game. But I liked it. I liked that. This was a great match. Fun. Super. Ospreay is just amazing. And Maddie is somebody that feels a little different. Let's see if I can pull that one up. Yeah, this is unpopular, he says. Not really a fan of Ospreay. I like my MJF. I like my MJF too. I think MJF's awesome. And that's why I was so excited for this match, is because I think Will Ospreay is your biggest babyface you have going right now, and does a great job at it, and is super talented in the ring. And then you have somebody like MJF, who's really great at being a heel, one of the best at doing it today, and did a good job at this one too. So he loses his American Championship to Ospreay after Garcia interferes, and after the match, Ospreay's being presented with that American Championship, and he doesn't want it. Well, Christopher Daniels comes in with the old International Championship, so now it's back to the International title. So Will Ospreay's your new International Champion. Again, I liked what they did with the International Championship, starting off with Orange Cassidy going on that huge run and making it really, really mean something. But then you're looking at like the TNT Championship, you're looking at the Continental Championship, you're looking at that FTW Championship, and I know I'm missing some, but there's just a lot of titles, and this kind of adds to it because it's like, well, he's the international champ, cool, I guess. But we kind of want him as the world champ, so they have to do some consolidation here. That's what they should call it, AEW consolidation. Book it. That's the pay-per-view name, AEW consolidation, coming in March. I like it. But yes, this was one of my other favorite matches of the night, I will say. Probably top 3. Yeah. Probably top 3. Definitely top 3. Oh, yes. Before I move on, I got to talk about Garcia. So, big surprise kind of in a way. A lot of thoughts that Garcia was WWE bound. And you know what? Oh, I like that one too. Wes says AEW All Together. That's a good name too. Please make a belt merger pay-per-view. Just make it happen. But Garcia coming back is a big thing, and he's got a ways to go, I think, before he becomes a big name. If he's gonna get that opportunity, let's see how he does. I like Garcia. Do I think he's capable of it? Sure, I think so. I think you need to position him in the right way. Maybe give him a little bit more mic time to kind of be this baby face and kind of things like that. He could be your next kind of Bryan Danielson. He can really take that mantle, I think. And maybe that's what Tony Khan sees in him, honestly. But here's the thing, though. It's even a bigger deal in the aspect that imagine if he went to WWE. Imagine if he went to NXT or he got put on the main roster and was already positioned in a big way. Just another AEW original going to the rival company and them making the most of him. That very well could have happened, and it didn't. He's still here. So AEW needs to kind of, we want to put a marker on him and make sure that he gets positioned in the right way moving forward. You have to just do that. AEW still has left themselves open to vulnerability in regards to being prone to having that gut shot still happen. Ricky Starks, not on this card. Wardlow, not on this card. Notable names that really got their big starts here in AEW are likely headed to WWE. And Daniel Garcia was one of those names, and he's not. He's staying here. So, well, you got to think so, right? I mean, if he's showing up here. So, I mean, but listen, it's something that they took off the table from WWE. Now, how WWE handles, maybe eventual appearance of Wardlow or what seems to be pretty likely appearance of Ricky Starks here at, some point in time means is going to be something that they have to watch out for, because it's this was a good move though. So good to see Garcia back. It's a win in several ways for AEW, and it'll be a cool program, I think, for him and MJF, and it'll be a good moment for Garcia because he's working with somebody like an MJF. So good on them, and yeah, a villain just says it right here. Hey, what's up, Dom? Garcia was a good surprise. He very much was. Very unexpected. Was he kind of the biggest surprise of the show? You could definitely see. And Wes chimed in too. Starks was tweeting a lot about the show. So definitely has friends there. This kind of takes me back to the ladder match here. I was seeing Buddy Matthews in the ring, and how surreal, weird, and not weird from a perspective of that, it's weird, but weird from a perspective of how kind of making the connection that, hey, Rhea Ripley's watching the show, more than likely, right? That's her husband. So it's kind of weird to think, and a lot of wrestlers are but that plays to everybody's, none of these guys and gals are like, oh, I'm WWE or I'm all AEW. It's they're supporting one another, whether the tribalism is not here in the locker room. It's all with the fans, And we get some of that too in the match coming up. Is that going to be a good segue, or am I jumping ahead here? Yeah, no, but in a match coming up here. Next up, we had Britt Baker take on Mercedes Mone. And Mercedes Mone gets the win. Listen, this is you want to make Mercedes Mone feel like a big deal. They made her feel like a big deal in that entrance. She came out in a carriage with corgis. She was positioned as a big deal, and this was they had some time to work in this match, and Mercedes Mone gets the win against Britt Baker. I think that the bloom is off the rose a little bit with Britt Baker, to her own detriment. She has not really set herself up very well when it comes to how she's perceived a lot. She still gets a reaction, but what do you? I don't think she's as valuable as it's really ends up to be, and I think AEW's kind of seeing that maybe potentially, because look, if you're kind of rocking the apple cart here when it comes to who's behind the scenes, when it's an MJF or somebody else, and you're just not really vibing with a whole lot of people, maybe I don't know all the story, and I can't act like I am. So, but I'm saying it seems like her act has really put herself back into the position where maybe she thought her value was more than what it was, and she was a big star, and no doubt she got charisma, but I think if you put her up in a WWE ecoscape too, she's high card, high mid card maybe, but she's not there's so many other bigger stars I think in WWE than her. So it's she's not really that valuable of an asset, I think, at this juncture. In either company. That's my thought. And I'm a Pittsburgh guy too, so how about that? Let's see. Yeah, good point, Wes. Nigel was the biggest shock for sure. Yeah, that is a good point. If not WBD, who do you see AEW have a deal with? Triller TV? Fight? Well, if it's not WBD, it's got to be another network name. It can't be something like Triller. If it's Triller, they're donezo. Finished. They need to have a streaming deal in place with whatever network gets the rights to Turner, gets the rights to AEW. So, and what it seems is it's going to be Warner Brothers Discovery. It would have to, I'm throwing something out here, trying to think of just some network off the top of my head that would make sense. FX, right? Yeah, FX. I'll just use them as an example. Say if they got the rights, so Fox, they're Fox property now, or whatever. You'd have to be put on, what is their streaming service? What is it, Hulu? I don't even know. Yeah, I think they're just waiting to announce it too. Yeah, they got WBD. So, yeah. If they were to go to some lower end kind of thing like Triller, or what else is still around now? I don't even know. But a low end wrestling streaming service, that would not be good. That would not be good. But what was good is the Coffin match. I liked it. I liked the Coffin. It wasn't crazy. Again, they did some fun spots. Darby coming out with tacks on his face was nuts. Jungle Boy dumping glass out, but everybody predicted that, and rightfully so. Got a huge pop. The glass got a big pop at Wembley. So this is where I was going to talk about the tribalism stuff, is you did hear FCM Punk chants in the crowd. FCM Punk chants. They were happening after Jack dumped out the glass, and then when they were brawling on the entryway, him and Darby, there was some FCM Punk chants. It just seems so weird to do. Nobody was really the winner in that whole situation. Punk kind of ultimately looked like he was in the right in certain ways, how he handled himself backstage. It just was an ugly situation. It's nothing you really want to reflect back on, but I understand the aspect of kind of playing into it because Perry's a heel. obviously you almost have to reference the glass in certain ways. You're back in Wembley and all that stuff. Like you didn't have to, but it made sense. I don't think it's no harm, no foul kind of thing. Do I think Punk would even get crap? No, I definitely don't think he does. Uh, you know, does Perry even give a crap? Like maybe this whole thing just blew over. It's like it's just so it's stupid, right? It's just dumb. Uh, yeah, like people chanting FCM Punk. Really, like you were pumped to have him in Wembley last year. There's no doubt about it. You were pumped. It's not like he broke up AEW. It's just put a reflection on the hiccups and the problems and the tension that was all going on backstage. So, like, yeah, it's just dumb tribalism stuff. So, and like that, like we said earlier with Ricky Starks, this is not tribalism at all when it comes to stuff. You got friends across all companies. Jason, I like the Tony Storm match. It was one of my favorite matches today. Top three. I think I would put that at number three today this time. Yeah, I think I would put that in number three for the night. But yeah, I thought the matches, like we mentioned earlier, Sting coming out was awesome. Sting was amazing. Like just great presence. Used the right way again, too, even in this little unexpected appearance. So I liked it a lot. Sting's awesome. So yeah, the Coffin stuff was quick. Like Perry kind of whooped Darby Allin in this match. I think like he was in control of the match most of the time. It seemed. So and like yeah, good on him. He's doing a good job as a heel. I like Perry as a heel. But yeah, I think it was good. Let's see. So villain, I think this kind of made sense. I think it was kind of neat that they did that he actually did. I think it was funny. Sting walked right by Darby and he didn't get him out of the casket until he kicked ass. I liked that. I think it just added to the badassery of Sting. Like they sold the Bucks sold great for him, and so did Perry just bailing out of the ring, just chicken shit heels. It was great. I liked it a lot. Yeah, Jason, I agree with you too. That's what I said too. I love her character, and she's a hell of a worker. Great on the mic too. Yeah, she did a really good job in that one. So, yeah, like big fan of that Mariah May and Tony Storm match. They made the announcement that AEW will be going to Australia. So coming up, so that'll be big time. You want hot crowds. I think AEW, like I said, they should be making the most of their tag division, being the tag team wrestling company. They're kind of trying to carve their own niche too here, going international and stuff like that, playing a lot to these international crowds, and kind of not maybe in a way kind of following the blueprint that WWE started to lay out. But I think them being open to traveling overseas and stuff helps them. You look at what TNA did back in the day when they would go to London. They felt like it really elevated the environment for them, putting on shows and stuff like that when they were loved in the UK and stuff like that. So AEW, who's definitely in a better position than what TNA was at that juncture, when it came to being positioned on TV and stuff like that. It's good for them to do this. So it makes it feel big. The Grand Slam is a good move to do. So, yeah, good point, Maddie. They should do India. I agree with you. But yeah, that'd be good stuff. Okay. It's main event time. We talked about it a little bit already, but Bryan Danielson beats Swerve Strickland. And Danielson, in turn, saves his career with an incredible submission and win for a Match of the Year candidate. I think I've seen better, like more engaging matches, I think, by both men when it comes to this stuff. This only feels like they're scratching some of the surface of maybe what these two can do in the ring together. But there were some great moments when it came to like reversals and transitions and certain things that these guys can go, man. They're good, like obviously. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the match a lot. And like the apprehension I had about, you know, the family being at ringside and stuff like that kind of put some things in perspectives. Like, listen, they're the parents. They know the kids better than anybody else. If they think they can handle it, then they can handle it. And the kids did handle it. Like after the match, you saw, Birdie's a little bit shy, but Buddy was loving life in the ring. He was playing with confetti. And even after the match, Danielson said like he was smiling when he saw his dad bleeding. And it was funny too because Danielson was like, "Oh yeah, when the catch up happened." It was funny. It was funny. Um, I think before people start being like, "Oh, you shouldn't put your kids in that position," like, listen, grand scheme of things, you think about it, Danielson and Bree, they're like great parents from what it seems. So it's like they're gonna have a whole full life with these kids and raising them and doing the right thing by them. What would be worse, having them see their dad get ketchup on them at ringside for a little bit, or like them like being in a bad parenting situation, like in life? I think they would much rather take the former. So there we go. Yeah. So I mean, I think it kind of puts a little lesson about like, hey, let their parents be the parents and let them know who their kids are, not you, not you. Um, yeah, Maddie says it too. Something to the hey, when you're a kid, you don't even think about the blood is real. Like it's different for all kids, I guess. You know what I mean? Like maybe some kids get traumatized by it, but like it was evident. Like I was wondering too. Like I'm sure maybe they were a little scared, but then they were overall fine. And so, and it's not like in the media scrum, Danielson had Birdie with him, and like, he adores those kids. And you could not. Again, I said this at the beginning of the show here that I think the neatest aspect of that match was him kind of being like, I love you," like saying it to them. You could see it, and he even mentioned how he was getting emotional in the ring doing that. Like, it added to the match, and it added to when he won. It made it feel like such a huge deal even more. So ultimately, I really liked it. I'm a huge fan of Danielson in anyways, and so like I will say the one aspect that kind of boom took me out a little bit was they stopped the match after a spot when they said, oh, he broke his arm. I can't remember what the move was, but like they were looking and oh my god, Nana Prince Nano, you could hear him saying, "Oh, Danielson, bro, he's got his arm broken. He's got his arm broken." Like that kind of stuff. When any injury with Danielson stuff kind of takes you. I'm like, ugh. Like if this is all staged, it doesn't need to be. I don't want to see any of this. Like let's. And Danielson said after the match too, he knows he can keep going at a high level still for a very long time, but he's making the decision to scale back his schedule and ultimately like take it easier uh, for his kids. So good on Danielson. This was a great match. Very happy he's the champion. AEW really needed this. Swerve, I think, was a great champion. I think this is a good start for him. You know what I mean? Like he established himself that he's credible. He's beaten some names. He's got charisma, a look, ruthlessness, everything like that going for him. Crossover potential going for him too. So this was a great first run for him. It was time though for somebody like Danielson to win this title because you not only needed AEW not only needed that for the company, but they needed Danielson in their championship hierarchy there. They needed him in their history. And I think that was very important for them to do that because he's a star. You signed him for a reason. You brought him in for a reason. And to have him hold your championship further adds to the legacy of your title. And so good on them and good on this match. Like it's tough. So Tony Storm and Mariah May, probably my third favorite match of the night. And then it's either between MJF and Ospreay or the main event there as my favorite. I'm gonna go Danielson. I'll go Danielson because I'm such a fan of his, and I think it was a really cool story, and it was just felt time to do it. So I liked it. Let's get some feedback here. Eddie joins in. Eddie Prather says hi. Eddie says I didn't like seeing Swerve losing the title. Yeah, I think it's just fine. I don't think, in the grand scheme of it all, they'll get back to Swerve. He's got a good program. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Is Hangman came out and kind of played a little bit of a distraction in it. Don't think that necessarily took away from the match that too much. And just furthers it. What will be interesting? What will be interesting is who's going to be the face and the heel in this program. You could almost put this back in the almost the right element here by having Swerve further be a heel and Hangman become the baby face again. Like, you just have to position it in the right manner. You know what I mean? Like, because you can certainly still understand why Hangman is obsessed with Swerve. Maybe if you correct course a little bit when it comes to like him really finally getting his hands on Swerve, because like, listen, Swerve was like mean in that match, like bringing Danielson over and showing catch up on Danielson to his kids. It's not good. And like, you just like that's some like um not quite scorched earth, but like pretty ruthless bad guy stuff. So like, Hangman, if you position him the right way, you can make him the babyface again and Swerve the heel in this. And I think that would feel a little bit more natural, right? In regards to what this story is supposed to be like. And I think you can, and Hangman can still keep that edge moving forward. That's been really working for him too. You can kind of make him like this chaotic, like, but now more with a goal in mind, you know? So I think you can have a lot of fun with Hangman. I would certainly turn him kind of like this anti-hero babyface. Hey, kind of like somebody I do a show with, Magnum TA, kind of like that. You could have Hangman be like, and then have Swerve just further embrace being a heel. And if that means him attacking Nana, might be something to think about. Let's get a little bit more feedback in here. If you guys have questions, or you guys want to have comments about the show, drop up on them. Oh, thanks for tuning in, Villain. Squared Circle Oracle. I'm off. Big up, Dom. Keep doing your thing. Thank you. Let's see what Wes has to say here. I hate when Danielson does that. Yeah, bringing the refs out to check on him like it's a real injury seems manipulative and more than fun kayfabe. Yeah, it takes me out. Everybody thinks about the previous history with Danielson. Like, and yeah, he knows that. Like, it's just like, oh, don't do this. Like, you're taking me out of the match. You're taking me out of it for no reason. Let's see. I wouldn't put the title on Page in a while, Eddie. I think you can definitely get there. You could get there, but they don't need a title in this feud. Swerve and Hangman, they don't. So you prefer? Okay, Wes prefers heel Hangman right now. I like. I think he can play the heel. Yeah, I think he's a good heel. I think you can't really go wrong either way. But I think I would like him as like this baby face with an edge, like Magnum TA. That's kind of me. Let's see. Yeah, Eddie, I'm kind of with you too. I think, and Wes, this might be a little bit more to why I feel this way too. Is they ruined Swerve's babyface run, like, kind of just, yeah. I mean, he's been somebody that's been flip flopped so many times. I think him being this heel now, like in this program, I think it just makes more sense to keep at that and like just have him be a heel for a really long time. I think that's it. At some point, you can get back to him being a babyface. Yeah, I want RVD to show up. I always want RVD to show up. Brian Remza, who's also a member of One True Sport. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing, by the way, check it out. Become a member of One True Sport today. Hit the join button. Be a part of it. You know, we go as low as $7.99, but we have plenty of other perks there for you too that you can enjoy. That we offer. Take a look. Just hit join. Check out the tiers. Next time I do this, I'll have to put the graphic up and get the graphic ready. But let's get Brian Harems up here. Do you see Brian having a long title run, or do you see him dropping it at Wrestle Dream in Washington? It's a good question. I think it really depends on what they make a deal with when it comes to Danielson and his schedule. If they present Danielson with a later schedule that fits his needs, I think he can make this run last for several months and make it mean even more. I think there's still a lot of names that he kind of wants to go up against almost, right? I would think as a world champion. Cool. We got to see him against Jeff Jarrett. We got to see him against Satnam Singh, which I liked a lot. But he's had some fun stuff, but you can continue that. And that's what brings me back to the point with Christian Cage now. He's the number one contender. Seems like that's going to be the match at All Out, right? Christian Cage comes out. They're like, no, I won this, and now I am challenging you at All Out in 2 weeks. And you can have a fun little program. Just think of the possibilities with this one. Like, Christian Cage is such a great character heel. He can still go in the ring. And Danielson can complement him very well in the ring with a babyface identity and being the world champion. Obviously, you have the father family aspect of all this. Some fun little 2 weeks you can have with this here, at least. So this will be a fun program. So Christian Cage won. I was like, what? Like, what's going on here? But then when you see it's Christian Cage and Danielson, that's interesting. I like it now. So I like it even more. And you know what? That's what you want these gauntlet matches and things like that happening. That's what you want them for, is to further storylines. And this further one, this is setting up for All Out in a really good way. So while I'm closing out here, if you guys have some names you're looking to see Danielson go up against, who are you excited for him to go up against and defend that world championship against? Because there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, right? There's a lot of possibilities. Let's see. Maddie wants Darby Allin as champ. Eddie does not want Darby Allin as champ. I like Darby Allin. I think someday he will be a champion. I think someday he should. Actually, he really should. You consider the legacy ties he has with Sting, what he has meant to the company. I wouldn't want it to be like a gold watch kind of thing where, hey, you worked so hard. Here's the title finally. I think you can make a program ultimately that pays off for him when it comes to that. So, hey, and we're going to get Darby Allin probably in Danielson, right, in Australia. And that's a great main event. That'll be very, very fun. So, Wes, he thinks he drops it by the end of the year. That's okay. Yeah. So maybe not. What month is it now? Oh, see, we're in August. So, yeah, that could happen. Wow. Okay. Wait. When's Grand Slam? Is that September? So we will see that still. I'm thinking Wrestle Dream. To whoever said Wrestle Dream, whoever said that, you might be right. I don't know. Wes adds, I think he'll be more full-time for the next few pay-per-views until he drops it. Yeah, I think so too, Wes. And I think that's good. I think he'll give it a solid run either way with the championship. Heel Adam Copeland versus Danielson. That would be cool. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. Would you like to see Christian and Edge come back as heels together as a team instead of baby faces? That almost would be really cool. And look, you want to talk about elevating your tag division? There you go right there. Yeah, they're older, but like to have them in your tag division, that elevates your tag division either way. Should have done that with the Hardys too. I know Jeff had his problems, but I mean, like you still had him in your mix later on. So, but hopefully they would do that. Brian Remza, would you see Christian using that as a Money in the Bank style cash in aftermatch instead of calling out the champ? Almost doesn't he need to? I don't think it's like a Money in the Bank stipulation, right? I don't think he can cash that in anytime. Or am I mistaken about that? I think he just gives him a title shot. Oh, yeah. Maddie, you could do the Brood. Nice. Yes, thanks, Wes. So, Darby versus Danielson is in New York. What? Why am I so mistaken here? Didn't they call a Grand Slam for Australia? Or am I mistaken in that? Okay. Oh, New York City, not Australia. What? I thought they called Grand Slam Australia this time around. Did I just hear that? Um, hmm. But let me see. Is there anything else I want to comment? Yeah, overall, I think I would give the show an A- in regards to what it does for the company potentially, and the feel that it came across. I don't think they overdid it with the surprises. Like you had Nigel McGuinness, you had Ricochet, you had Daniel Garcia, and you had Jamie Hayter, and they were pretty well spread out throughout the card, except the Casino Gauntlet match where you had two of them in there. But it wasn't like, you know, oh, I don't think any overshadowed one another. You know what I mean? It's just, hey, that's cool. Jamie Hayter's back. Hey, that's cool. We finally got Ricochet. Hey, that's cool. Nigel McGuinness finally got to wrestle again. And hey, that's cool. Daniel Garcia's sticking around. So they all had their different, they hit different tones, you know, if that makes sense. So I liked that. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So West does say Australia's 2025. Okay, not sure the name, but then Brian Ramsey says they did the next Grand Slam event will be in Australia. So it's just probably later 2025. Okay. That makes more sense now. So we're getting we're likely getting Danielson and Darby in New York City then. I couldn't imagine Danielson dropping it within a month. So, yeah, that's great. So, we got some cool matches on tap for Danielson. I'm trying to think who else I'd like to see him go up against. Obviously, Okada. Listen, I would love, and this is a great opportunity for them to do, love to see him work a program with Claudio. Get him out of the Blackpool Combat Club. Make Claudio the heel in it. And have him go up against Danielson. Maybe you do it the right way. He's the one to take the title off of Danielson later on down the line. I think that would be awesome. Oh, okay. So Wes says, according to Google, Arthur Ashe and Australia are both Grand Slams, different years. Okay, so there we go. There we go. Team effort here, everybody. I like it here. That's what we have at One True Sport. There, you can't say, there is no that doesn't make sense. Never mind. You can't spell, no, I'm not even going to try. I was going to do something with team and true, but what a team we got here. I know it says one in the title, but we're a team here. How about that? That's pretty good. So yeah, fun stuff. I think AEW set themselves up very well moving forward. Now, how are they going to follow up with it? Will things make sense? I think we'll still hit our strands of hiccups here and there. Will we see potentially Shane McMahon show up on Dynamite this Wednesday? Will we see a television announcement be made? I think both those things should happen if Tony Khan has those in place. They should happen this week. You should make AEW feel really, really big right now. I'm telling you, if you keep at least either Ricky Starks or either Wardlow, you're kind of leveling out another gut punch as much as possible here. So, but guys, if you like what you're seeing, again, look at those tiers below. Join OneTrueSportTV.com. Sign up, become a member. We get you if you sign up on the highest level. You get quarterly T-shirts. You get the sweet poster we made, and probably more cool designs with that forthcoming. You'll eventually get a digitized custom trading card of yourself. I'm going to work on those this week here and get those ready for people and sent out to them. I still got to work on the frame and all that stuff, so that's what it is. But spread the word out about us. Listen, go to our shop site. Oh, here, let me do this before we close out. I did upload these. So, again, our one graphics guy, some 90s guy, some effing 90s guy, made us some new graphics when it comes to T-shirts. So let's plug a little of the merch we got here. Some new merchant site. We have my guy here, Mr. RVD. We got the new flat fit hat, the whole effing hat. You can get that at OneTrueSport.com under the RVD collection. Looks awesome. I have the vintage kind of looking version of this hat. That's also available on the site. But the flex hat looks super duper cool. Hey, you guys like extreme? Get even more extreme. We got some RVD and Sabu merchandise. There's the classic RVD ECW shirt, and then a new take on Sabu there. We also have another Sabu t-shirt available, the Sabu Flex Fit hat as well. And we have original Chic merchandise too. So go to onetruesport.com. You can check those ones out. Several other RVD like this one here. Bring the smoke at onetruesport.com. Sweet looking tee design too. Very reminiscent of that one gas station logo. I can't think of the name of it. But yes, take a look at that. Also, we have some Golden Era guys, some Mid-South men when it comes to Ted DiBiase and Jake the Snake Roberts. Pick your poison. That DDT one, the Shakur Butt Fair, is the first ever Jake the Snake t-shirt design. So you can get that now at onetruesport.com. And that one you see over there is Ted DiBiase in Japan. So, yeah, he's not just the $1 million man. He's been all over the grid. And that one pays homage to him in his Japan days after his WWE run. Speaking of two men that are familiar with one another, we got Nikita and Magnum TA, the best of three. Choose between these. We got Nikita merchandise, Nikita Koloff. We got the best of 7 t-shirt, Nikita Koloff and Magnum TA. And then we got our original design by the Magnum TA, Terry Allen, the boss of Chesapeake, Virginia. So take a look at that. And don't you dare forget about Mr. Wonderful. That's right. We got Paul Orndorff in our lineup now. You can't look wonderful, but you'll get close. Mr. Wonderful right there. That's an awesome looking t-shirt. Great thing for Paul Orndorff. I love that he's a part of our, his legacy is part of our website. And so be sure to check all these out at onetruesport.com. There's plenty more to come with that. More names to announce up forthcoming too. I got two legendary names in the mix that are going to join our collection here coming up. And another extreme name too to be on the lookout for. So, yeah, this has been a lot of fun, guys. I'm going to try to do One True Views a little bit more here. I usually, time permitting is when I can try to do them, but I figured All In here was a good way to kind of get it back in the mix. I literally only did one before that, and it was the Raw after we announced our launch. So this is only the second One True View we've done on the program, but if you like them, let me know. Shoot me a DM. If you want to help promote, send out a tweet saying if you liked it. Hey, send out a tweet if you didn't like it. Go ahead. Say this show sucked. Dominic's so unprepared. And where's his sleeves at? What a show off. Get over yourself, Dom. You and your Galad tape behind. Did you know who Galad is, guys, by the way? Did any of your parents do this while you were growing up in your house? The Galad Bodies in Motion? I literally, for some reason, have a VHS. So it's like a workout thing that you do at home. And it was Galad. On location in Hawaii. And you could do these in your house. And my parents they would tape them. And they would work out in the house. And me and Marcus would be around. And we would sometimes join in. Now, they would use free weights like little dumbbells and stuff like that. When Marcus and I would work out with them, we'd use soup cans as our weights and stuff like that. So Galad, Bodies in Motion, big fan of Galad, man. His sister does it too. I can't remember what her name. Ada was her name. That's right, Galad. Man, I can't believe I'm putting over Galad here on this One True View. This is like, man, that's a throwback right there. I tell you that much. But yeah, guys, this has been fun. Oh, what's this? Dom better after AEW than 83 weeks, DeAngelo. Wow, thanks. That's a high compliment. Listen, I put Eric, this made me think about it. Somebody said something about, I don't know. I saw something about it, Eric Bischoff being a part of the Monday Night Wars or something like that. I can't remember what it was. But it showed a picture of him, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. It made me think. It really made me think I would definitely not be doing what I'm doing right here and now if it wasn't for Eric Bischoff, because he helped cultivate the NWO. I grew up a fan of Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. And when I watched Scott Hall, he was Razor Ramon. And then, I didn't get into wrestling again. Well, I kind of fell out of it, I mean. But then one night I'm flipping through the channels, and what do I see? But it's Razor Ramon. But instead of, purple and gold, he's wearing black and red blood drip trunks. And he's on this other program. And he's fighting somebody like Blitzkrieg in a squash match or something. And I'm like, that's Razor Ramon. What the heck's he doing there? And boom, it's the NWO. I'm back in the game, baby. So without Eric Bischoff, I would not be doing what I'm doing today, and I can definitively say that. So I love Bischoff. He's the man. Um, he's a salt of the earth dude, and you know, he's fun, man. He's fun. So yeah, West says too. I love Eric. I just disagree with almost every thought he shares on AEW. Yeah, I mean it's polarizing and stuff like that. I definitely fall in the middle when it comes to a lot of stuff. Uh, I'm very much critical of AEW because I started off really into it and really optimistic about it, and it just seems like a lot of the goodwill has kind of unraveled. But I guess that brings me back to the point I was making today is like this is their opportunity to kind of get back on the right track, set themselves up nicely, make them feel like a big deal when you get like you think of all the stuff that you've just lined up that you already have set up now. Jamie Hayter has returned. Daniel Garcia is still with you. Bryan Danielson is your biggest star, arguably, and now he's your world champion. And on top of it, you're on the verge of announcing a new TV deal, and you might have somebody like a McMahon being on your side. So, and whether you agree with that or not, that's still big news, and it's still going to create a lot of buzz. So, AEW, they do the right stuff this week. They make that announcement about the TV deal. Maybe they bring in Shane on Wednesday to follow up. You got some really good stuff lined up. Hey, and try your darndest, Tony Khan, to either and make the most of. I say make the most of both Wardlow and Ricky Starks. But if you just can only sign one of them, sign them and make them somebody. So let me see. We're getting a couple other comments in here, so I just want to make sure I'm not leaving anybody out. See, and Eddie Prather says, I agree with Eric on more than 80% of AEW. Sean Pletcha. AEW is just okay right now, but hopefully on the right track. Right, Sean? Right? Danielson just doesn't need the title, in my view. Maybe Danielson doesn't, but AEW needed Danielson to have it. I think that was imperative. Oh, shoot. Maddie, thank you. You said Raven again, and I should bring this one up. Thank you for reminding me. AEW should hire a mind like Raven. WWE is the show. So, yeah, like, there's a lot of minds. Like, you think about it, you had Arn Anderson back there. You have Jake the Snake back there. You have Jeff Jarrett back there. You have Tony Schiavone back there. You have Jim Ross back there. You have a lot of guys that know how wrestling operates on a week-to-week basis and telling good stories. At the time, like, God rest his soul, Kevin Sullivan, still very much on top of things when it comes to wrestling, knows how to tell a story. Blows my mind why they didn't try to bend his ear a little bit more and try to get him in the mix. Tony has these opportunities. I hope he... Now, granted, I don't know all the ongoings of behind the scenes, everything like that, but it would just make a lot more sense to have a couple oracles, a couple vets being a major decision maker in your booking. And somebody like Raven's very smart like that. Jake Roberts is very smart like that. Arn Anderson, very smart like that. There's just names you can go on and on here with. And there's just so many guys. So, yeah, Wes says they have Jimmy Jacobs. And, yeah, I think Jimmy Jacobs is good and knows his stuff too. But I'm just like, listen, some of this stuff is, you need stuff a little bit more buttoned up. I think you need a couple of veteran minds in here to be like, maybe the final say obviously goes with Tony Khan, but get somebody really who knows what they're doing, like as the guy that really handles it all and biz like, this is what I think we should do. Feel free to fine tune anything you think, but look at what Triple H is doing, like with WWE. It's night and day when it comes to Vince McMahon and stuff like that. Like Tony Khan, this is his product and this is his show. He can do what he wants with it. But you get somebody like a guy that appreciates the history of the business, the legacy of the business, that knows the ins and outs of it all, that knows how to weave stories in on a daily, on your 2-hourly program, then throw out the month, play in the long game, all that stuff. There's a lot of names you can make the most out of. And I hope that Tony Khan's able to see some of that and maybe kind of be like, okay, this is the next chance. This is their next chance. Good TV deal. Set yourself up right. There's nothing that says that you cannot get back to almost to where you were, and maybe even you can get back. But it's just like Cody just seems like a very, very big gut shot. CM Punk seems like a very, very big gut shot. Jade Cargill feels like a big gut shot. You don't want many more of those happening. So try to mitigate those as much as you can and get somebody in there that you trust and everything. All right. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Wes. Love you too, man. And good to hear from Kev, too. Yeah, new click this tomorrow. Violent J is the special guest of ICP. It's a great episode. Listen, guys, you have your apprehensions about ICP. You have your viewpoints about them, juggalos, what have you. I always think about a guy in my middle school at the time. He wore a Mr. Malenko shirt, not Dean, but I think it was a clown or something in regards to the Juggalos, but he also wore Janko jeans. So my impression of Juggalos in ICP was not the greatest light. Also, I was afraid of clowns. I did not like It, the original It with Tim Curry. So I was afraid of clowns back then. Not really afraid of ICP, but definitely a different impression. So tuned in. I joined in on this live chat that Kev had with Violent J. And man, do I like Violent J. He's very likable. So tune into that episode tomorrow. Click this drops tomorrow. So does RVD, One of a Kind, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You want to help me out big time? You want to help out the show? Not only subscribe to OneTrueSportTV.com, but subscribe to RVDTV.com. That's where you get your new shows every Monday and Tuesday. That's where I post clips up there. That gets a lot of traction. We had a new one up already with Rob talking about the low pay he got in ECW, the new ECW with WWE. Then when they brought it back, crazy, just crazy. I was flabbergasted by what Rob said and how the payouts happened there. You'll like that story. So that's up now. They're on RVDTV.com. Take a look. Hit subscribe. Hit those notifications. Turn the notifications on here. Also, you'll get, man, there's so much to plug. But Marcus and Andrew Hermes, the research guy for ARN and the co-host of Paving the Way with Medusa, who's also a part of our network, they did a debate show, which was great. They went really in depth on the Four Horsemen parody in WCW. If you're a Workhorse member, oh man, Robbie has some bad things to say about All In. Garbage pay-per-view, wasted $60. No, I respectfully disagree, I think. But, hey, wrestling's subjective, so nothing wrong with feeling that way. And, yeah, you paid the money. You feel any way you want to about it. I can't blame you for feeling, anything like you want to. But, yeah, I didn't think it was – I thought they set themselves up nicely. But either way. But you can join the Workhorse level, and you can get that. Marcus and Andrew break down different sides of how they feel about it all. So, good stuff. Yeah, I agree, Eddie. All In was way better than Double or Nothing. Last match was... Yeah, Wes. Last match was worth $60 alone. Dude, heartwarming story at the end. Good stuff. Good way to end it off, I think. Trying to think what else we got. Oh, yeah, next week, if you're also a Workhorse member, you can get to do a live Q&A with me. I'll sit in on a Zoom. It's my turn this month that I am up. I am the guest host live Q&A, so you guys can interact with me, ask me any questions, what I feel about wrestling journalism, what I feel about current product, anything. Anything, go ahead. It doesn't even have to be wrestling related. I don't care. But you'll have that opportunity next week here. I got to pick the date. Just keep your eyes peeled on my social accounts and on the One True Sports accounts. You'll see an update there. But I will be your guest, and you can air your grievances towards me. Hey, I would love any feedback you have for network stuff, what you want to see, what anything is there. So feel free to join in. That will be sometime next week because I have to do it before the month ends. So, yes, be on the lookout for that. And, be on the lookout for my hotline for everybody available that's a member. So Contender, which is our lowest one, that'll be up. I'll be talking about Cauliflower Alley, my experience there. So, guys, this has been a lot of fun. You guys and gals. I know we have a couple gal members too. Are all awesome, and I appreciate the feedback. Couldn't be doing this without you. Really appreciate the confidence and the support you put into your belief you have in us of doing this little project. And I'm glad you're early on here for the ride. I'm hoping this thing really, really takes off and becomes a big deal. Like, I want this to be the pro wrestling network that you tune in for great content that is modern, that is classic, that you can pay. Like, if you want to support a legend, you can. But listen, all this merchandise that we're selling on OneTrueSport.com, the profits go to like me, Marcus, and Paul, but the majority of it goes to the talent and what you sell there. So just keep that in mind too. If you want to go and buy something and everything like that, that goes to the talent. Like, the majority of the profit, like half of it gets split up with us, and then they receive the other half, and that's a lot that goes down. So it's not. We want to do right by that, and we want to do right by everybody. So in the wrestling world, so it's just, we want to make this a fun communal aspect that that wrestling fans like, and that I think the space needs in certain ways. You got a lot of people that are judgmental. You got a lot of people that kind of don't have their agenda. And sure, this is always, you got to make money and all that stuff. But we want to make this a cool identity of a network where it's just like, everybody's going to be along for the ride. You can kind of, get your connection with wrestling legends, modern people, us, and have fun doing it. And we'll make cool stuff, and you can support us if you'd like, and we appreciate you even just tuning in. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. Yeah, Maddie, he's somebody you got to tune in for the live RVD chats. So Ken's saying it too here. He's got the best dad jokes in the business. Sometimes they're not really dad jokes, so they're kind of like vulgar, but they're good. They're good little jokes. Me and Rob were cracking up not last recording, but the recording before, he was dropping some jokes, and it was really funny. So yeah, just fun stuff here, guys. Tune in. I'm excited too. I'm in the fantasy football pool for One True Sport. Plan to win that. So, and the prize will be a T-shirt made. Maybe I'll be just giving a T-shirt to myself. That's the hope. But all right, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Try to do more of these. And I'll see you next time here on One True View with Dominic DeAngelo. Might not wear sleeves next time, though. Wear sleeves next time, though. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.